Hi. So this is a collective for everybody, but also anybody that relates to the symbol of tortoise, or anybody that's not feeling very well. It just popped into my head this morning, sort of like a persistent illness of some sort. Strange. Okay, let's go with how you're feeling internally. That's good. 6 of Wands. And how that makes you act on the outside. We've got the Knight of Wands and the Empress. Lovely. And a card for the basis of the reading. Card for the basis of the reading, please. 2 cards. We've got the 5 of Swords and the Fool. And something from the recent past. Queen of Wands. So we've got the King and the Queen of Wands. Oh no, we've got the Knight of Wands, haven't we? Potential outcome. We've got the Page of Swords. And something for the near future. 3. So that's good. 4 of Swords, which is on its own. And then together the 3 of Pentacles and the 2 of Pentacles. Your attitude. 2 cards, the Queen of Pentacles and the Page of Wands. Your environment, wherever you find yourself, that's having the most impact on you. Home, work, somewhere that you're travelling. Oh, 3 cards. 2 of Cups. And 8 of Pentacles and the Ace of Wands. Okay, move those along, and your hopes and fears. Hopes and fears. Hopes and fears, please, for this collective. King of Pentacles. So we have got a pair there. There's lots of people here. And an outcome. An outcome. An outcome, please. Oh, oh dear. Got the 3 of Swords and the 9 of Swords. It's interesting. Because it's such positive energy. Why are we ending on that note? We'll definitely have to cap that and just have a look at what's going on. Yeah, so when I look at this spread, there's lots of characters. We've got the King and Queen of Pentacles. We've got the Knight of Wands, the Queen of Wands. We've got the Empress. So we've also got we've got the Page of Wands. The Empress and the Fool are the only majors. We've got lots of extra cards than we should have out, but it feels like a very yellow site. Like what I'm looking at is lots of sort of optimistic energy, fast movers, creative people, generators, the Empress, creating and making beautiful babies and projects and homes, and you know, it just feels very sort of abundant. So it's strange. And let's just dive straight in. So we've got you as the 6 of Wands. So internally there's a sense of really having achieved something. I feel like you're kind of riding back into town. You feel good about something about yourself. It feels like the sort of image that's coming to mind is that there's something that you're sure about for you, that you can't be knocked on now, that is just, regardless of the fact that he is actually admired by everybody, it's kind of like, it might have been quite a difficult path to get to this position of knowing, but there is a kind of surety there, and a sense of appreciation for yourself, because you've been through quite a lot, is what I feel. And how that's making you act on the outside is this unleashing of this lovely male and female energy, a sort of youthful, libidinous Knight of Wands who's wanting to rush around and sort of create and, you know, spread his seed and be kind of, you know, super fast and energetic and full of passion with his red plumes above his head, and then the lovely empress who's settled. So it's an interesting combination of energies, because there's a very fast masculine and a very settled feminine, but that settled feminine creates everything. You know, she's overseeing her fields, she's got the stars of Venus above her, and she will create and give birth. So it's actually quite a lovely combination, and it sort of makes me think of how, you know, the male principle in service of the female principle. In some cases, it can be a very good place for somebody like a Knight of Wands if he was to be in her service rather than just looking after himself. Then all that passion would be put to use in a really good way. The basis of the reading. So this is arguably what we're looking at here. We have a sense of loss, a kind of Pyrrhic victory, or a victory that either you or someone else has had, which does not feel good, followed by a new start. I'm looking at, oh, a lovely little puppy dog who's got like a ball or something in his mouth. Oh, somebody's dog in the neighbourhood. I've never met that. He's got a big depressed sort of football. Yeah, so a stage in which you felt you had to fight hard for something, and there's been a loss, either yours or you've beaten somebody else, but it has not felt satisfying, does not feel good. You know, a sense of having to sort of watch your back and making a kind of move, or if it was you that won, there will be people who haven't liked it, or the circumstances aren't. It won't have been well received by everybody, is the feeling. If you were beaten, then yeah, you felt a little bit sore, but there's a new start coming from it. So it's sort of, the way I can see it today is it's like something bad has happened. It could be for these people or this person who's got bad health at the moment. You know, a sense of sort of having been slightly beaten by a health condition, but there is a very strong urge for a new start now. And how do we get there? In the recent past, we've got the Queen of Wands. So you reaching into your intuition to sort of look for what might be your way forward, with her black cat of intuition, but those two ferocious lions. What else can I see? Her sunflower, she's looking slightly away from us. Those lions on her seat, and it's interesting, what really is jumping out to me today is the sort of yellow on the one side and the grey on the other. So it's almost like, and she's still focused on the side that represents quite barren land, but we're trying to get you into the sunny aspect that we're seeing everywhere else here. So one potential outcome is to come up with a plan. The Page of Swords. So this character sort of fakes it till she makes it. She's got a good sense of where she wants to go, and she's very sort of focused and strategic. So that would be a really wonderful position to be in, whether you're dealing with health or you just need a new start from this kind of sense of a loss, and now you've got to sort of be reborn. It would be great to get a plan, and even if you have to slightly make it up, that's still great, because she tends to do very well, using her mind, rising up, those clouds not affecting her. Oh, it's a cat. It's a black cat. That's so funny. That's so strange. When the cat ran towards me, it looked like a dog, and now that she's walking away from me, I can see very clearly that she's a black cat with white legs. I thought she was like a collie. So what on earth she had in her mouth? Is it a baby? It was something big and white. That's interesting, isn't it? Seeing something from one perspective and assuming it's a dog, and then actually as she goes away from me, I realise it's a cat. That might be a message of that you might need to change your perspective somewhat, because there's been an illusion somewhere. There's an illusion of something. Wow, I was 100% sure that was a little puppy, the way that the cat was running. That's strange, and I know dogs. So, It is a puppy. Oh my God, this is nuts. So it is a puppy because I can see the mum now. So maybe it was the mum I saw before. It is a puppy. It's just, gosh, this is so strange and confusing. My eyesight is getting worse as I get older, but so now I can see an older dog with the puppy. So that's why it looked different to me, is that the older dog is the collie that I was 100% sure of, and the baby looks like a little black cat because it's quite young. And they're going for a walk together. Illusions, projecting your fantasy onto things, looking very sort of quickly at something and believing you understand the full truth and not knowing. Okay, those are the ideas to keep in our minds. What's coming up in the near future? We've got the Knight of Swords, the Four of Swords having his rest and recuperation, the Three of Pentacles working together, and the Two of Pentacles dealing with juggling a situation. So for anyone who has been ill, this would be amazing to have a period of rest, because that's exactly what he's doing, is recuperating, and he's getting everything aligned. But this could be, also pertain, to anyone who's had some sort of conflict or needing to kind of get out of into a new phase after a phase that's potentially been quite stressful with this fight that we see not going so well and needing your new start. So rest and recuperation, and then being ready to cooperate again with a group, which is lovely, to build a cathedral. All parts ready to work together. I'm seeing the rose in the middle, which never normally jumps out. That's interesting. And then a sense of juggling, that it might be, they're coming towards us now. Oh, this is sweet. There's a sense of juggling that it might be quite a lot, this new start of lots of people being involved after your rest, lots of ideas that you're juggling potentially. Let's see. So in your attitude, the Queen of Pentacles and the Page of Wands. This is not unsimilar to the idea of the Empress and the Knight of Wands. It's a sort of toned down version of that. So the Empress and the Knight of Wands, which was your attitude, the sort of big notes of needing to create something harmonious and healthful, and then this kind of strong male libidinous energy. We've now got the younger counterpart in the Page of Wands, but also one of the queens, and all four queens make up the Empress. So and the queen who likes things just so at home, who gets everything kind of very organized, who's the sort of bougie queen, but also arguably a healthful queen, because she's very rooted in her body. So again, this is your attitude. I feel like you're trying to start something new in a very healthy way, whether it's about your body or if it's about something that you're creating. Is there's a strong sense of sort of nurturing female energy that is being supported by a kind of fiery passion to get this done within you, a kind of letting lots of sort of creative ideas come in service of this aim. So I think that's absolutely lovely. And your environment, we have love and passion, and then hard work. So sort of partnership, love. This could mean that you're in a very loving home. It could mean, if you live on your own, that you're partnered with an animal or part of yourself that's feeling very sort of open and cooperative, and wanting to sort of reach out to the universe and to the world and sort of work with it. And again, this sort of new start, this new fresh start of the Ace of Wands, these strong wands that keep turning up. So like a new fresh idea that you're prepared to work really hard on. So if it's work, it could be a new passion, a new project at work, that you're cooperating with somebody else. We've seen that in the near future, that you've got the Three of Pentacles, so we know that there could be teamwork involved. And it feels like something that you're really going to put your steam into, your passion into, get really good at, use all your sort of artisanal skills. So it's lovely, whether this is a new project for health or work. There's a lot of really strong, lovely energy, and so it has all these very good elements of cooperation and loving the project, a lot of passion for it, you know, magic and passion and ardour, and then being prepared to put the hard work in. I mean, we slightly say that he should remember to take this to market because he's so busy making these beautiful pentacles, and there is a town in the background. So sometimes we think he might be so sort of into the work that he's forgotten that he needs to go and sell it. There's a little white path to the towns sort of that I can see quite strongly, so that's sort of maybe something to bear in mind. Don't get too obsessed with doing it. Get it out there and show it to people, sell it. If it's to do with your health, don't just dream up the ideas, start putting them into action. Work on this. And then in your hopes and fears, so we've got the King of Pentacles slightly on his own. That's feeling, you know, resplendent and safe and well looked after. Yeah, sorry, I was then picking up, that's funny, I was picking up what's coming up in the near future, and that's not to go with it. It is just that's what you're looking for. But it's interesting that I saw him being paired with this idea of the rest, the cooperation, and then juggling things. I think that's how you're going to get to this position. So you need to feel more secure, and that might be in your body. It's about physical security. It might be through money and sort of inherit a kind of a strong sense of being able to be looked after and look after those around you. He's armoured. He's got mushrooms at the very bottom left. He's got these beautiful grapes all over his cape, and these two sort of very imposing looking bulls either side, sort of bullish good health. That is where you want to get to. And then where we end up is this very curious position of being delayed in this. So the Three of Swords is about absence, delay, and separation. My teacher would say, and the women who taught me how to read cards would say, also, you need to bring your logic to your heart. So, and that's interesting when it's paired with the Nine of Swords, where the mind is running wild with terrible options of what might happen, but we know that this isn't really true. And the idea of bringing the logic to the heart in order to sort of end this separation is we need to start using the mind a little bit more carefully, so that we get the result that we want, rather than allowing our fears to give way, because we've got all this amazing energy on the table of strong new starts with the Ace of Wands and the Fool, and success with the Six of Wands, lots of wands supporting you, and you know, the Knight, the Page, the Queen. Why are you worrying? Yeah, look at that. Yeah, why are you worrying? Why do you feel left out in the cold? What is it that we're missing here? Just want to cap this. Why is this sense of destitution and worry and delay? I wonder if you're using your words in the wrong way. The Eight of Wands is about messages and communication, and the Magician makes happen whatever he wants to have happen. And he's much more powerful than you could possibly imagine, in that he has all of the suits, the cups, the swords, the pentacles, the wands, all ready at his disposal, and he's creating what he wants, as above, so below. I just wonder whether your words and your thoughts are not helping you at the moment, and that what you're inadvertently doing is not using them for your best, but for allowing your worries to come through, which would make you feel ill and stuff. So I'm going to just cap these, because I've got two other decks here, and did I bring the third? I didn't. Just only got the 2. So we have got a little third. I'm going to do, so these are, one is very whimsical. It's the Tarot of the Enchanted Forest. Let's see what that wants to say to you about this. There we go. Oh, 3 of Challenges. That's the 3 of Swords. So that's what it's bringing our mind to. Let's have a look at the book, because it's always interesting. It's wanting it. This will be helping you unlock from this situation. So, and I remember this card. It's a horrible story about a father leaving his children, Hansel and Gretel or somebody, in the forest because he doesn't feel he can look after them. So there's a sense of being abandoned in this, which is interesting. Let's have a look. It's easy to get lost in the woods. It's also easy to get rid of something there. A desperately poor man has brought his little daughter and his little son far into the forest, intending to leave them to their fate. At home, only slow starvation awaits them. Perhaps among the wild beasts, their end will be quicker. This is a terrible moment. It's a moment when a father abandons his children. And it's interesting because we've got your hopes and fears being the King of Pentacles. He's the ultimate father. He is the one that would look after everybody in his midst. And there's a sense of being abandoned by that principle. So it's really interesting. The children are puzzled, but they trust him. They will wait for his return. You've probably heard a tale like this before. Alas, there have been many children abandoned in the Enchanted Forest. In the stories, they frequently do quite well for themselves, but this brutal betrayal is not easily overcome. This card signifies a hardening of emotions and fateful decisions made in a moment of weakness and fear. And that is our 9 of Swords and this 5 of Pentacles. There's a lot. It's so strange to see those energies turning up. So please, whoever's watching this, there is bound to have been some terrible stress in your life recently, from what I can see. And I think that you've become looped and fixated on some real loss. Not to say it hasn't been terrible, but it's you've made decisions based on that moment. You've planted seeds into the future based on that moment, and actually that is not what you need to do. That was one moment. It's going to give way. There is always a cycle. There will be better days coming. It's a warning to protect yourself, and it also cautions against hurting others. There are many kinds of betrayal and many kinds of ways to break your own heart. A heartless decision, betrayal, and abuse of trust, a stupid and unnecessary drastic action. Everyone involved is hurt. Magical brambles rapidly grow along the path, springing from anguished tears of the fleeing father. Okay, so we're being asked to concentrate on that part of the reading. And do you remember when I saw the 3 of Swords, which is its other iteration in the Rider Waite, I said, bring the logic to your heart. So something awful might have happened. You might have been involved at the basis in this loss with the 5 of Swords that really hurt. And you might be making decisions still based upon that. And it might be making you feel ill. And we need to get you into a kind of, don't make rash decisions and don't betray others because of this. You need to get into this King of Pentacles energy. And then this card from Rachel Pollock's deck. Now this is one of her extra cards because she's done a deck which is based on the 78 normal cards of tarot. But in this Shining Tribe Tarot, she has those cards plus some extra cards, and you've got Tiamat, which is one of the extra cards. And it's a very short little description, and it says, in Sumerian myth, the primordial goddess Tiamat was broken up by her distant descendant, the hero Marduk. Some see this story as symbolic of the destruction of the prehistoric goddess culture by the late emergence of masculine rule and kingdom, some 5,000 years ago compared to as much as 50,000 years of the old ways. However, it also suggests the very deep perception that all the many pieces and fragments of our complicated world are really all one being, and all of them are alive. To quote a song from Gabon, all lives, all dancers, and all is loud. And this card thus symbolises a powerful sense of the connectedness of our lives. I think that what that's saying to me is especially seeing as it talks about the goddess and a sort of a loss. What did it say? It said the loss of the goddess who was worshipped for 50,000 years, and now, so some see the story as symbolic of the destruction. So this goddess was broken up by her. Oh, this is fascinating. Okay, we've got there. So do you remember how we've got this goddess, this empress with her Knight of Wands, and then in your attitude we've got the Queen of Wands with her Knight of Page, and I said they were very, very similar. It's kind of goddess energy being, and here we hear a story of the goddess Tiamat was broken up by her distant descendant, the hero Marduk. And these are heroic energies. The Knight of Wands and the Page of Wands is about to become that kind of character. They are the distant relatives, and some see this story as symbolic of the destruction of the prehistoric goddess culture by the late emergence of the masculine rule and kingship. Some 5,000 years ago, compared to as much as 50,000 years of the old ways of goddess worship. I think that's the bit we need to concentrate on. All is one, it goes on to say in the little description, but I feel your health or your sense of security and this awful worry and loss that we see in the end, and this sense of abandoning yourself, is something to do with going with this. I think you feel that the male principle isn't working, and you're forgetting this kind of goddess, this empress, this Queen of Pentacles. You're forgetting to rely on that. And I think that there is success if you can marry in your environment, if you can marry both of those elements, the female and the male principle. So I suppose what I'm saying is, if you're at a roads, there's that male principle of like, I've got to do this, I've got to make lists, I've got to contact these people. And then there's the female way of just allowing, not in a passive way, but by generating from a more seasonal, natural perspective, like it will come, having the faith that it will come, not making any rash decisions in this Three of Swords moment where we haven't brought our logic to the heart, but we're just full of loss, and we decide, we give ourselves these messages that are not healthy. Because this could be such great energy if you talk to yourself in a way and remember to send messages out into the universe that are really positive. This is amazing. But it feels like you're stuck in this grief moment. The male has let you down, has somehow, it's not worked out. Yeah, it's interesting. This loss of this betrayal and loss of the male principle. I'm just going to pull one more little card to get some advice. Yeah, the Chariot. Work together. Work together with those two parts of you. So use your words, and it's like that. You know, like I was saying, like the Empress would send the knight out to do her bidding, but all of his actions come from her. He's not just wildly riding around the countryside on his own, which we know he usually causes trouble when he does that, when it's just to do with his life force. He doesn't always cause trouble, but he can be selfish. It's a bit like saying, use your heart to steer the shit to steer the shit or the ship. Like, listen to your heart. Let your heart be the thing that makes the decisions, and then the brain, like the knight being the heart being here in this analogy would be the Empress, and the brain being the Knight of Wands. Let your brain be in service of the heart. I mean, maybe that's the problem here, because we say bring logic to the heart. Maybe that's not working out, because bringing logic to the heart is when you try to use the brain to sort of heal the heart, and maybe that's not the way around we need to do it, because it's causing you worry. logically everything might look awful. And what we actually need to do is get into the heart and let the actions come from there. And then this card is basically saying, yeah, let the two sides work together well. Like, let's put this chariot into action, because if you can marry these two sides of yourself, then you're on your heroic quest. Then you're off, and you'll feel that this partnership you've got in the Two of Cups and in the Three of Pentacles will start to work. I think that parts of yourself, you're using one part of yourself against the other part of yourself. It will be making you feel physically ill. So I think the advice of the cards is very firmly, remember the goddess. Remember that she's behind everything, the heart, the goddess, nature. And try and remember that there is always renewal, and use your words, your spells, effectively, what you're saying and what you're putting out into the world, what you're messaging yourself. It needs to remember there is always renewal. This is all, we are all one. Like that card, the Tiamat card said, everything is one. It's all one grand experience. We're arguably just one consciousness experiencing itself in many, many ways. So try to get out of this kind of beating yourself up with your thoughts, and remember that the renewal always comes, and and try to get into the heart space. I hope that helps. Bye.